Hello, you guys. Um, let's see, October 8th, 2016. It's been a while since I've done a video, and today it's relaxing day because we just moved for the second time um, last weekend. So, about 7 days ago. So, we sold our house in June, moved to the city of Seattle in June 15th, and today's October, moved again. Because our kids, our kids' bedroom, who they were sharing, didn't have a window and they were getting quite depressed. I could tell that by the daily argument that was going on back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I thought, okay, we gotta fix that. We moved to a smaller apartment. I'm not necessarily loving it because I like space around me, but there's definitely more light. Definitely. So I wanted to do a little bit of an update in a video update. I'm doing awesome, guys. Awesome. Thank God for that. I'm doing great. Like I said, we moved last weekend. It was just the four of us. We did have help for 1 hour from some Mormon missionaries that they were really helpful for the heavier stuff. But the rest of the stuff, we really did it. We moved a whole apartment from one end of the building to another. It was the easiest move too because it was from one end of the building, so we just rolled things down the hallway. Still a lot of work. So right now is resting day. It's Saturday and we're resting. No more getting up and driving. My daughter is going to college, so I drive her every morning and pick her up. So just life is great for us. I am getting super strong. I'm so thankful to God. I am pretty much, I would say, almost back to normal. There's still a little bit of something, but I have to really watch myself. I don't have the endurance of, I would say, a regular individual maybe, but what is a regular individual really? And I just know my limits and I'm smart about it and I know how to just operate, and I'm trying, to operate around it. What I wanted to talk about today is changes. Changes are inevitable in our lives, aren't they? A lot of times when we get really comfortable, we like to keep it that way, especially if it's a nice comfortable. If it's a miserable comfortable, then you do want to change it, or you become almost addicted to the dysfunctionality too. And even though there's a part of you wants to change that, the other part of you is so familiar with the crazy addiction of dysfunction that doesn't want to give it up because it's familiar and you know how to handle it. And two, you don't know if you deserve something different. And three, it's that unknown zone, world, land that everybody's scared of. What if it's gonna turn out worse than the worst that I have right now? So a lot of times we stagnate because we're afraid of the unknown. We're afraid that what are we walking into is gonna end up worse than what are we walking away from. So say that from experience. But I noticed lately that this makes probably 100% difference in the way you perceive and I perceive life. Why I say this? It's the way we think. So I notice when I expect great things, which lately I have expected great things because anything higher than death, in my book, it's considered great. So when you hit to that low, when you're like, literally, if somebody just did this to your body, you would fall into the grave. Anything above the ground, it's just positive, happy experience and expectation. And so now I just expect out of my life only good things. I do catch that autopilot way of thinking going, wanting to go back to the old way of thinking. And I have to remind it. Don't go into the old with that nostalgic feeling of, oh my gosh, things were so great, because things were not that great. Remember the truth of that old, and remember why you wanted to walk away. Or sometimes we are forced to walk away. I give thanks that to God up for that, because I know some things I had to be forced to walk away from certain things that were extremely destructive to me, but I did not have the power. And honestly, I didn't want 100% the change, so I didn't do it. And then circumstances, and I knew it was God, just forced me out of a situation. And then I was forced to deal with the new situation, whether I liked it or not. Then when my attitude changed, then my perception changed towards the new situation, realizing just how much better the new situation, the new circumstances, the new way of thinking, the new information, the new lesson, the new knowledge, it really was. And what a blessing in disguise, being forced away from the old and into the new really was, even though at the time I didn't see it. So changes, they're hard, and yet necessary. Some changes are absolutely life and death necessary. Some changes are good, and some changes are not necessarily going to make that much of a difference into our lives, but yet it helps us from stagnation. And once we enter stagnation, everything within us starts dying. Your creativity, your idea, your expectations of the future, your joy for life. If you find yourself not enjoying life anymore, it's because you allowed yourself to be stagnated into something, whether it's a way of thinking, whether it's an environment, a circumstance, friendship, even health, like a health state of stagnation too. So change is necessary, but it's a lot of work, it's scary, and it pushes us out of our comfort zone. So most of the time we end up choosing not to change, even though it would help us and benefit us for the future. I'll probably come back with another 1, 2, 10. I don't know, there's so many things for me that I'm learning through these changes. Because I don't necessarily love this apartment. I really like the first apartment, but I have to talk to myself and tell myself things like, we have moved for the children. You're a mother. You chose to be a mother. Look out for, the benefits and the well-being of your children. And also look at the positive things that this apartment, which has tons. But I got kind of hooked to the other apartment because it wasn't the walls that I got hooked to it or the cabinets. It was how I felt in it. And how I felt in it was a new beginning, a bright, amazing beginning. And to move so quickly out of that into this, it's almost like I'm trying to figure out, what does this new apartment means, and what does it mean for my life? And I have to remind myself, it's not the apartment that chooses in your course of life, it's you that chooses your course of life. And it's up to me how I make this apartment work for my life, emotionally, physically every day and in any other way, I guess. So I'm gonna wrap it up because we're at 10 minutes right now. I didn't mean to go that long. Have a fantastic day, and we'll talk later. We'll talk soon, hopefully. Bye bye.